Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. So guys, Floyd Money Mayweather has come out in support of Canelo Alvarez. Guys, before I get into this video, smash the like button. Really smash the like button. Guys, I put up a Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis video. Please go and smash the like button for that video as well. And go and give it a watch. It's a great video talking about, Gervonta, reading out quotes from Ryan Garcia saying why he needs a mega fight with Gervonta. So go and have a look at that, please. Smash the like button on that video. Hit the subscribe button. If you like, there's about 40% of you that watch my channel that haven't subscribed. So please, if you're watching my channel, please subscribe to my channel because it really helps and it'll really help me grow. So the ones that are watching, please hit the subscribe button. There shouldn't be 40% of you watching my videos and not subscribed. That's not right. You should subscribe to my channel, it mean or not. So yeah, go subscribe. Let's get into this video. So Floyd Mayweather said to Ryan Garcia that you've achieve something in the sport before you talk down about Canelo. He goes, look at Ryan Garcia. He went into Canelo's gym, was praising Canelo, learning from Canelo. Then all of a sudden he's hating on Canelo. He goes, before you talk down on Canelo, right, at least go and achieve what he's done in the game. And then he went on to say, I got to give Canelo credit. Canelo is a Hall of Famer. Canelo will go down as a Hall of Famer, says Floyd Mayweather. It said he will go down as a Hall of Famer. So Floyd generally, at times, he's a funny character. Sometimes he'll come out and depends what mood Floyd is in. Floyd is funny like that. It depends on what mood he's in. But generally, one thing I've noticed with Floyd Mayweather, he does respect and give a lot of his opponents credit. That's why I found it weird why he used to sometimes talk down on Canelo, maybe to promote his fighters, but I think he rates Canelo. I think Floyd's always liked Canelo. I don't think he dislikes him or anything. I just think at times he feels like, why does this guy get all this credit and someone like myself would beat him? Floyd was probably a better fighter as well in terms of he was more talented, more gifted. He had more. Canelo was more powerful. He's much more exciting fighter than Floyd, especially towards the latter part of his career. But early on, Floyd was pretty exciting as well, and he was a very gifted fighter. So some people will argue, well, Floyd was much better than Canelo. Canelo has taken a lot of risks in his career, but Floyd was pretty complete. He was pretty well set all round. And what I mean by that is that he had very good footwork. There wasn't a lot of flaws in Mayweather's game, and he was a very smart businessman as well. He knew how to play the game, Mayweather. Mayweather was a great, not just in a ring, outside the ring as well. He was a special businessman, special fighter. And that's why, he was undefeated. He had a great career. But Floyd, he's got class, Floyd has got class. Like, I know a lot of people like to criticize Floyd, but Floyd, you see, Floyd says a lot of things sometimes. In my opinion, at the moment, he says a lot of things that I don't think he generally believes at times. But when he comes out and says things like this about Canelo, I think he genuinely believes that he's not talking with any kind of agenda here. He generally feels that, Canelo Alvarez is going to go down a Hall of Famer, and he thinks he's a great, and Floyd is right. Floyd is right because Floyd knows his boxing. Sometimes Floyd will say something to promote his own guy. Why do you guys always talk about Canelo? Talk about my guy, Gervonta. Because Floyd knows how to play the game. He knows how to put the attention on himself, on his guy. Floyd knows he's played the game. He's a master at it. But Floyd also recognizes real. Floyd understands boxing better than anybody. And personally for me, I think Floyd Mayweather knows that Canelo Alvarez has taken a lot of a risk in his career, and he knows he's a great fighter. Floyd Mayweather actually respects Canelo Alvarez, and I think Canelo has a lot of respect for Floyd. I think Canelo has a lot of respect for Floyd because I think Canelo learned a lot of things from Floyd. His defense. If you look at a lot of things Canelo does, he's definitely looked at a lot of Floyd Mayweather tapes. Because Canelo Alvarez's defense, some of his defensive moves, he's tried to master from Floyd Mayweather. And if you look at if you look at their fight, Canelo tried to use some of Floyd's move. Floyd even said this, but it didn't work because Floyd is a master at that. And Canelo was obviously young at the time, and Floyd totally schooled him. But I felt like that fight really was the growth of Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez then grew from that. And he bettered himself. He realized that, I need to get better. Canelo Alvarez isn't the most naturally gifted fighter ever. He's had to work immensely hard. He's not like a Roy Jones. He's not like a Floyd Mayweather. Wherever Canelo Alvarez is today is on sheer hard work and talent. Of course, he's got, sheer hard work and work ethic. Canelo Alvarez, of course, is talented. Nobody gets to that level that he's got to without having talent. But what I'm saying is there's different types of talent. There's Roy Jones type talent, which is that man was a phenomenon. Like, he was just something else. Canelo Alvarez hasn't got that kind of talent. But Canelo Alvarez, what he's got is hard work, ethic, and consistent. So Canelo Alvarez will never be as naturally gifted as Roy Jones. He will never be as good as that. But what Canelo will be is you won't see Canelo being knocked out 6-7 times like Roy did. Because Roy wasn't as consistent as Canelo. Also, Canelo is probably more fundamentally sound. And what I mean by that, Roy relied a lot on his natural talent. Canelo has become a more versatile fighter by improving even his footwork, which we think is a weakness. Canelo has made that much better. And how do you do that? By hard work, by going rectifying your weaknesses, by trying to identifying your weaknesses and then not crying over them, but trying to strengthen those weaknesses, making your weaknesses generally are not gonna get to a place where they're gonna become a strength. Like Canelo Alvarez isn't gonna turn into Pernell Whitaker. That's just not gonna happen. Canelo Alvarez is you're never gonna see him glide around the ring like Pernell Whitaker. You're never gonna see him have footwork like Muhammad Ali. But Canelo Alvarez has improved his game. He's become a very effective pressure fighter. And he also is a fighter who's a very brave guy. Canelo Alvarez got into the mindset, and we the fans got into the mindset where we started thinking Canelo Alvarez is unbeatable, because that's the aura. That's where Canelo Alvarez had got himself to. Canelo Alvarez was becoming so dominant that we actually thought that he's going to go and blast these 175-pounder guys out, and these guys have got no chance. And let's be honest, how many people on my channel were picking Canelo to win the fight? Virtually everybody. There was a few people like Steven, D-Money, Ray. There was a few people, but these were few and far between. But a lot of people were picking Canelo to win against Bivol. The reason why is because Canelo had that aura about him now. Canelo had that aura like Mayweather did, that he's almost unbeatable. But Canelo Alvarez, he's a very brave guy. He wants to test himself. He wants to take himself to another level. Unfortunately, Canelo Alvarez, as good as he is, in order for you to jump up weight classes and fight guys like that, you have to be Roy Jones-esque in his prime. Canelo Alvarez isn't Roy Jones-esque. He hasn't got that kind of talent. Also, power. Canelo Alvarez, if you look at a lot of his wins of late, they've been power-based. Don't get me wrong, he's a very good boxer as well. But if you look at how he beat Plant, it was through power, really. He flattened him in the end. Billy Joe, he broke his eye socket, again, through power. Canelo Alvarez also likes to fight on the inside. As you move up the weight classes, you can't fight like that. It becomes very difficult. You need to rely on speed, movement. That's why you don't see a lot of these guys. You see a lot of these guys that, haven't got the greatest defense. Canelo's got a great defense, by the way. But I'm saying these guys that, are power-based fighters, like a Golovkin, for example, they stay in one weight class. They don't move up much. But now you look at even Marvin Hagler, another one, stayed in one weight class, even though Marvin could have probably moved up. But Sugar Ray Leonard went from welterweight to light heavyweight. Why? Because Sugar Ray Leonard he could box and move. His footwork was phenomenal. Same with Roy Jones. He went up from 154 to heavyweight. His footwork was phenomenal. Generally, that's why I'm saying what you see with Canelo Alvarez And even Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran was another one that was he was a firefighter, and hence why Roberto Duran also got knocked cold by Tommy Hearns. He also got put to sleep, didn't he, Roberto? Because as you move up the weight class, when you're a guy that's looking to intimidate somebody and hitting somebody with a huge punch, and you're relying on your power, you're going to get yourself into trouble, because those guys are bigger and they can absorb your power, but you might not be able to absorb their power because they're naturally bigger and stronger than you, and they hit very hard. And that's why the fact that Canelo was able to go up to 175 and not get knocked out or get wobbled, that just shows how strong, and not just how good his chin is. Forget the chin, how defensively sound he is. Because guys like Roberto Duran at times could be reckless and they would get caught. And that's why he got caught against Tommy Hearns. Canelo Alvarez defensively is very sound. He's got a very good boxing IQ. You know, so it's not easy to KO somebody like that, because he's got a very good defense. But the problem is with Canelo Alvarez, and if he wants to beat Dimitri Bivol, he's going to have to find another way. Or just in general, if you want to move up weight classes, you can't beat people with power. You have to beat people with speed and movement. Mayweather, Pacquiao, all these guys didn't beat people with power as they moved up weight classes. They did it with speed and movement. That's what Canelo's going to have to do. But that's the problem I have. I don't know whether Canelo is that type of fighter. Because Canelo's not Pacquiao or Floyd, where he can box and move like they can. You know, Floyd had cat-like reflexes. Pacquiao had unbelievable footwork and speed, hand speed. You know, Canelo doesn't have that. You know, Canelo's a different type of fighter. Hence why I think 168 might be his cap. But Canelo Alvarez wanted to test himself and wanted Dare to be great, trying to go to 175. Even though if you look at it stylistically, and people like myself that analyze and break down fights should have probably cottoned onto that. This is a guy. It's probably because we thought Canelo had a unbeatable aura around him. Not just that, but we also doubted how good are these guys at 175, like Bivol, like Beterbiev. We didn't really know because Canelo was operating at such a high level. We just don't know how good everybody else is, because in boxing today, there's only a few fighters that are very complex that have fought the elite, whereas most of the fighters have fought second-tier opposition. So we don't really know how good they are. It's like Benavidez. A lot of people are hyping Benavidez and saying Benavidez is this, that, and the other. But generally, we don't know how good Benavidez is. Benavidez might be the real deal. Maybe my opinion of Benavidez maybe not being that great is wrong. I'm open to that. I might be wrong. But the problem is, because these guys aren't fighting the elite competition, we just don't know. So with Canelo was fighting the top guys at 160 and he wiped them all out. And you thought, no, he's going to wipe the 175. But we forgot that Kovalev gave him trouble. You know, we forgot that Danny Jacobs was in an easy fight. We forgot Golovkin gave Canelo trouble. So we need to realize that Canelo throughout the years hasn't been unbeatable. It's just the reason why he was unbeatable of late is because of the fighters that he fought weren't probably as good as a Golovkin and a Danny Jacobs when Danny was in his prime. Callum Smith and Caleb Plant and Billy Joe probably weren't as good as those guys. So, again, and even Kovalev, because Kovalev was giving Canelo work as well. Kovalev was a tough fight. Kovalev was potentially winning. So, this is what I'm trying to say. I think 175, if Canelo can go to that weight class and do some damage there, potentially win the Bivol rematch and then maybe do some damage to Beterbiev, which I count out. I don't think he can. Then my estimation of Canelo Alvarez would go through the roof. I'll be really honest with you. It'd go through the roof. The fact that Canelo even wants to go back. Now, apparently, I did see an article that apparently says that Canelo Alvarez is not 100% that he's going to fight Bivol next, which I might do a video on that, actually. But I totally agree with Floyd Mayweather. That Canelo Alvarez is an all-time great, of Hall of Famer. Yeah, man, I honestly do. I think he's an all-time great. I do. And Floyd, I think Floyd is right when what he says about Canelo and backing Canelo in the Ryan Garcia spat. I think Floyd is totally right. I think he is an all-time great. There's no doubt about it. But leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'd love to know your guys' opinion about what Floyd Mayweather had to say about Canelo Alvarez. Floyd obviously woke up on a different side of the bed the day he gave that interview. But like I said, I think Floyd, for me, is a very smart guy. He knows boxing like better than anybody. He was one of the greatest fighters of all time. And I let's not forget, Floyd was one of those fighters that actually said that Canelo would beat Triple G. And he said Canelo, but I don't know whether he was saying that because he had a bit of a biased narrative because he wanted. I think Floyd wanted Canelo to win, so it makes Floyd look much better by him beating Triple G, in my opinion. And I think the Mayweathers in general are pretty biased towards Canelo because they want him to be greater, so it makes Floyd look greater. So Floyd's always been like that. Well, whoever he's fought, he tries to big them up even more, so it makes him look even bigger. Floyd has done that in the past. He's done that with Pacquiao. He's done that with Canelo. I've noticed, but of late he was becoming a bit. He was like, people were saying he's coming across a Canelo hater. I don't think so. I just think there were certain things that he didn't like, so he aired his opinion. But I think generally, if you look at Floyd, he does generally big up his opponents. And again, I think this is another point where maybe Floyd, although he's bigging Canelo up, and I think he genuinely does mean that Canelo is a Hall of Fame all-time great fighter. I think it's not just that. I think Floyd is also knows that it makes him look even greater by saying Canelo is this, that, and the other, you know? So leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.